貴様よりどのぐらいザワールドのスタンドパワーが強いかちょいと試してみたかった。試すほどでもなかったようだが。
Hey everyone, Thordan Smash here, and today we're going to take a deep dive into one of my favorite characters that Apex Legends and Respawn worked on to bring into the game, and that is going to be Jester, and we're going to look at his gameplay and abilities, because even though it was a character that was cut from Titanfall 2, it does look like we could be seeing him in the near future, as 2024 seems to be adding in a ton of new Titanfall content. So we're going to go over what it means if he comes to the game and what to expect. We're also going to give out 45 bucks. All you got to do is like, comment, subscribe. You guys know the drill. But without further ado, let's talk about this new character. As many of you know, Apex Legends was developed and created by the studio known as Respawn, who created the wonderful Titanfall franchise, and it does indeed share a universe with this game. And we've seen many tie-ins to it. So that's just the fact that Respawn themselves did say, contrary to what some folks are reporting, Titanfall is the very core of our DNA. Who knows what the future holds? There's also many other nods there, with Ash being a playable character in Apex Legends introduced in Season 11, and being one of the main antagonists in Titanfall 2, and of course, the gentleman who actually runs the entire Apex games, Cuban Blisk, who was the main antagonist and final boss of Titanfall 2. And we know we're getting even more introductions to Titanfall for those that aren't familiar, because we are getting a new game mode called Capture Point, which takes place on a variety of Titanfall 2 maps and Titanfall maps data mined by Kralrindo. But there is one legend that was actually leaked a while ago that has roots deeply in the Titanfall franchise that will be coming to the game, and there's a lot of lore to unpack with him, because even Titanfall fans don't even know the full story around this character. And this character's name is going to be Jester. Well, let's actually start with Jester's abilities and what the gameplay for it is right now. And what's important to note is that he is known as the Tricky Trapper. He has a passive rewire where he can turn any grenade into a proximity mine that sticks to surfaces. You can press B to toggle between the modes, and you can actually spawn this ability with frag grenades. And his tactical is called Spectre Drop, and you might actually see a similarity with something that we've seen before. And it's where you call in a drop pod with 3 Spectres to guard an area. Only one set can be active at a time. Now, when you actually look at this ability, it looks very similar to something we've seen before, and that is for Blisk, and when we got his leak from Bias 12 back in Season 8. It has something that guards an area with a fire rate. We don't see the gameplay of the Spectres yet. And you might be watching this saying, well, Spectres aren't anything crazy or revolutionary. There's nothing that surprising about this. But what's important to know is that this leak actually predates the IMC armories being on Stormpoint and Spectres being introduced into the game. So it shows that these were being worked on in conjunction or at the same time. And now that the IMC armories are destroyed on Stormpoint and the Spectres are no longer there, it would be a convenient time for this to come back. But since Blisk is actually not in the roster of leaked legends, it looks like his ultimate actually got turned into Jester's tactical moving forward. Who knows when we'll actually end up seeing Blisk, as he was left off of this data mined list, and he is considered right now offline, so he doesn't seem to be coming in the immediate future. Now, Jester's ultimate is called Cloak Field, which creates a short-lived cloaking device that hides all players in a small area. It's like Mirage's ultimate, except it also can impact people on his team, and it doesn't send out decoys. The cloak lasts for 6 seconds after leaving the cloak field, so it looks like Mirage is going to have some competition in the coming seasons. Now, let's actually talk about where Jester came from. We actually have a ton of established lore. You see, Jester was a fully created character for the Titanfall 2 game, but he was actually cut before the game released. However, there were still classes that used him as a model. He even had a form of that cloak field that you could use in the multiplayer. And when I say this guy was cut right before the game, he was cut right before, because there are actually action figures you can already get of this character from Titanfall 2. And his backstory was that he was a bounty hunter for the IMC. He did die. We aren't sure of what actually was the cause of that. And he is a simulacrum similar to Revenant and Ash. However, there is something very important to note, is that he was actually an experimental form of one, because he's not actually the decorated pilot that died. He's actually an AI that was put into the simulacrum to believe that he was the pilot. It's very, very confusing. So we have another character that is coming in the future in that mold, which makes sense because Respawn really seems to like to add them every couple of seasons. Overall, Jester is a very unique character, not only in his abilities, but in the fact that out of all the characters that were leaked, and there are 9 of them total, he is the only one with a somewhat established backstory and lore, and that has a unique fit into the Titanfall universe. Let me know down below, do you guys think that Jester could fit into the game of Apex Legends pretty well, or do you think that he is just a little too nuanced or niche to actually fit in pretty well? Also, don't forget to check out this channel right here by my editor Novell, who does amazing Apex Legends content. And until next time, Legends, keep slaying the Outlands. I'll see you out there.